Palm Sunday in Inglewood's Grand Riviere, a day of religious observance for Christians, was disrupted by the sound of gunfire, leading to a tragic double homicide in the usually quiet northern community. The echoes of gunshots subsided to reveal a grim scene. Law enforcement officials identified the deceased as Anthony Augustine, 33, known as Ronnie, residing in Ticolo Castries, and Dave Troy Louis, 34, from Formager Castries. The brother of Dave Troy Louis described the profound impact of the loss on those who knew and loved him.
My brother's always there for me.
He also conveyed the immediate shock and widespread sorrow felt by the family.
I have a headache from yesterday. I can't even sleep neither. I just don't really want to talk about it too much because that just make me feel away.
But how's the family dealing with that?
Well, we're taking it hard, yeah.
Did you have any children, anything?
Yeah, that's
How old is your son?
4 years.
The news of Dave Louis' death was delivered abruptly to his girlfriend, unfiltered, triggering trauma and distress.
I just got a call saying he was shot. He was killed.
How do you feel about this?
I have no idea.
So the last conversation you had with your boyfriend before, did he tell you he was going someplace? What was the last conversation?
No, he didn't say where he was going.
Charisse John, spokeswoman for the St. Lucia Fire Service, recounted the scene that emergency responders encountered upon arrival.
On arrival at the scene, a vehicle was found with 2 adult males. On assessment, they presented negative vitals. Multiple penetrating wounds were observed about their bodies. They were pronounced dead by a doctor at the scene.
The area was subsequently secured and handed over to the Criminal Investigations Unit of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force for a thorough investigation into what are now the island's 15th and 16th reported homicides. Authorities are appealing to the public for any information related to this incident. Individuals with knowledge that could assist the investigation are urged to contact the Grosley Police Station at 456-3830. Provide information anonymously by calling 555, the crime hotline, or utilize the RSLPF crime hotline application, which is accessible on the Google Play Store.
The island's third homicide for 2025 was recorded at Lenny's Hill, Soufriere, according to the police. 27-year-old Hank Curtis Montrose of Palmis, Soufriere was reported to have left home with company to run an errand when he was shot to his abdomen multiple times. A business owner at the top of Lenny's Hill says that Montrose ran into her shop asking her to call the police because he was shot. He was accompanied by another individual who was unharmed.
I started screaming. I ended up calling my daughter. She was in town, and tell her if you don't have the police station number, call them. Tell them they just shot somebody and he ran in my shop. And so she ended up telling me she'll close the shop and she'll go in the police station and tell them that. And that was all.
The daughter of the business owner says that upon getting the call from her mother, she drove to the Soufriere police station since she was already in the town.
So when I came here, I got the boy there. He was lying down, but he was conscious. So I was there talking to him. They told me his name is Hank. So I was trying to ask him, stay up, try and stay up, because every time he try and close his eyes, I try and tell him no. As if I felt like if he closed his eyes, he would die. So I tried to keep him conscious, try and tell him, talk to him and Hank, stay up, leave your eyes open, open your eyes until he helps survive. And that was it. Then the police came, but his brother was the one who came and asked me for a towel to put him on the vehicle so he can bring him to the hospital. So his brother was the one who brought him to the hospital, and the police followed after. But about 10 minutes after they reached the hospital, because I've heard screams from the hospital to here, because it's nighttime, so it's kind of silent. So I told my mother I'm going to the hospital to see what's going on. As soon as I reached, they tell me, I'm sorry about that, he passed away. And then that broke me down.
The DBS News World spoke to the family of Montrose. His older sister says that her brother was not affiliated with any gang. She never thought he would have become a statistic. She says that she wonders how her brother's killer feels, knowing that they took an innocent life.
My nephew said they went
to bring a phone to fix for somebody. By the time they got there, a group of boys came. 2 of them had guns. So Hank and 2 other boys run. But apparently when they run up Lenny's Hill. There was another group of fellas waiting on them. So it's like it was a set-up ambush. But as much as you would hear parents would say the child was a good boy, everything, my brother had no trouble with anybody. You will ask anybody and they will tell you he was a pleasant child.
The aunt of the victim says that her nephew was not one to look for trouble.
Knowing that child, he is not a child that likes problem. Any problem Hank would have get himself into, he would have run, because he's a very coward child. And that really broke my heart this morning when I got that call early this morning, hearing that he passed away. I was so sad, so I had to come up to Soufrière because he's in Vieux-Fort I am living. And honestly, I'm really feeling it right now, really. And Hank is not a child that likes trouble. Any trouble he would have run because he's coward, and I don't know why the person had to do him that.
The RSLPF is urging anyone with information about this incident to contact the nearest police station or call 555 to report anonymously. The incident occurred on Sunday, 19th January 2025, about 7:28 p.m. For the DBS News World, Miriam Montoot reporting.
Police have launched an investigation into the fatal shooting at Roseau Monday around 1 p.m. 26-year-old laborer Christus Jean-Baptiste alias Chachi of Boisdin Jacmel was reportedly gunned down at a construction site near St. Lucia Distillers. According to law enforcement sources, the victim, who was felled by multiple gunshot wounds, died on the scene. First responders of the St. Lucia Fire Service were called out to the scene minutes to on Monday afternoon.
Officers at the Fire Service headquarters responded to an emergency call on Monday, 30th August at approximately 1:55 p.m. The information received stated that there was an alleged shooting incident at Roseau. The emergency crew found on scene a male individual lying on the ground in the presence of police officers. An assessment of the patient revealed that he sustained several penetrating wounds on his body. Due to the obvious signs of death, the scene was left in the care of the police.
The shooting victim's father, who has been mourning the loss of his brother, has been hit by another tragedy with the slaying of his son.
No, I was on my way to witness the autopsy on my brother because my brother just passed away. I came down from St. Martin to come and bury my brother, and today was the autopsy. So I was on my way to the hospital to witness, and I get a call. Tell me my son get shot. So when I rushed down, the police allowed me to see him, and I just see him, he was on the ground.
So you saw the...
Yeah, just see me, but they didn't let me come close to him, so because, so they just let me have a glance, and that was it.
When last you saw your son?
Last night. We had a talk. Yeah, because he's living at my house. I have a house of Boisdin, so he living there. He and my brother was living there. So I go there, and we had a talk last night. I told him, okay, you know how it is, just take it easy. So I around before I go, we go have a talk. And that was just it.
It is not clear what happened at the expansive plains of Roseau Monday afternoon, but eyewitnesses allegedly heard the distinctive sound of gunfire echo throughout the valley floor, with the supposed assailants fleeing the scene in the aftermath. It appears Jean-Baptiste may have been targeted at his place of work.
Even last night I tell him, when last you see your mother? He tell me every week I was going by my mother and check my mother. Me and him, he was talking. But to tell the truth, I don't know his lifestyle, like nighttime, what he does do. I can't say he was a good man, but me and him was cool. Okay? But according to what I hear, my feeling was like anytime I would have heard distress call. That's me. Yeah, that was how I was feeling. So it ain't really to say, yeah, it like I feel in a kind of way, but I was expecting something like that. When you live in that kind of lifestyle, you know how it is. That's the payment of it. That's all I have to say about him. But apart from that, me and him was cool. As a father with a son, I was talking to him, but he wasn't listening to me.
A number of communities in the Roseau area have been in the grips of a violent feud among rival factions. It is not clear if this latest fatal shooting is related to the ongoing disputes among these groups. Joachim Duplessis, HTS News Force.
A brutal assault in Industrie Choiseul claimed the life of Ken Joseph, a resident of La Pointe. An eyewitness described the attack as heinous and seemingly unprovoked.
All I saw, the guy who got murdered was passing. He passed down with a bucket in his hand and a green cap on his head, and the alleged perpetrator was at the back of him. And when we looked, we saw the perpetrator took a piece of wood and slashed him in his head. That's all. And I called the police, we called the ambulance, and that was it. I didn't see they have any arguments. They were not talking to each other. They were not arguing or anything. I don't know if they had an argument before or something, but from what I saw, no, they had no beefs. It just happened out of the blue.
A police press statement on the incident reads, quote, "Preliminary investigations led to the discovery of an unresponsive male at the scene with signs of apparent head trauma," end quote. Choiseul resident Alexander Japierre, speaking to HTS Southern correspondent Desmond Collymore, recounted what he witnessed on that fateful Thursday afternoon as he saw both the victim and the alleged perpetrator traveling along the same path before tragedy struck.
Yesterday I was sitting under the ackee tree behind my back there, and I heard a noise. Two men was walking down this area there, this alley, and then I just see them walking, two men, the gentleman that died and another fella alongside him. Then while I there, another man come and he tell me, yo, look they knock out a man there. So I say, I didn't move. I stayed there and I saw a lot of people coming down towards that alley over there. I didn't move from where I am. I stayed there, and after that I heard the man died. That's all. Because I myself didn't move. I stayed sitting down there, just watching people go in there. Yeah.
Do you know the individual?
Yeah, I know the man well. Ken is a hard-working man. He have his garden up the road. Yeah. He using that alley, that area there to go at his home. They're shortcut because he lives somewhere La Pointe. Yeah, man.
Alexander Japierre described the victim as a peaceful individual who did not deserve such a violent and tragic end, an attack that has left residents traumatized.
He's a hard-working man, he's a nice man.
How did you feel when you heard of the incident?
How?
How did you feel when you heard of the incident?
Oh, that was traumatized. Because I told you I had to go and bathe. I just sit down there and I cannot move. Because once you know somebody and something sudden happened to the person, that's traumatizing you, you know. Because I sit down there, I wanted to go and bathe, I just cannot move. I just watching people going in the area. People coming from all different areas coming in there. I say, what? I just see the man for the last time. I just see his back. He walking inside of there. Oh Lord, boy, we have to do something about that crime, man. Every time somebody have a problem, is a cutlass, a knife or something, a gun, we have to go to God, man. God is the answer. St. Lucians, God is the answer.
Family members who spoke to News Force revealed that the alleged perpetrator had a history of mental health issues and had been institutionalized multiple times at the Mental Wellness Center. They allege that prior reports about his violent tendencies were ignored by law enforcement, even the days leading up to the deadly attack. Relatives speculate the tragedy could have been prevented if law enforcement was more responsive and the young man had received proper mental health treatment. Solange Alfred, HTS News Force.
Just 9 days into the new year, the island has recorded its first homicide. 22-year-old Gabriel Jr. Henry of Bardney Castries was gunned down at his residence about 9:20 p.m. on Thursday. According to the homicide victim's mother, she had served food to her son and another individual who had gone outside to eat. She then proceeded to go rest.
I went and lie down. It's when I wake up, When I check the time, I have my phone by me. I check it, I see it's 9 o'clock. I say 9 o'clock, let me go and lock my door. Because they always going down there. Time I don't see them, I see it's down there. So I say, let me go and lock the door. Hey, pow! I say, bon Dieu! When I say, bon Dieu, I say, what happened there? Like something that fall in the house. I jump. I sit down back on the bed. Then I come out in the room. When I reach there, I see him lie down there. His eye wide open. I call him, Junior, Junior. I say, they killed Junior there. Then I start screaming. Then I see people coming. A lot of people, they come there. They ask me what happened. I say, I don't know. I just heard a gunshot.
The mother describes what happened next.
When the fire brigade, the ambulance come, they tell me they will go with him. I say, no, wait for police to come because he died already. They tell me his body is still warm. I say, they don't have no warm in that because I touch him, I see that cold already. I say, they have no warm in there, so you all could leave him there, let police come first. They tell me, no, they have to go with him. They take him, they go with him. And Alex go in the ambulance, and I go with my niece. We went in the hospital. When I reached there, the doctor called me, asking my name. I tell him, yes, I'm his mother. Then he tell me, he gone already.
Polio says that she has not been able to eat or sleep since the incident. She added that her son did not keep bad company, and she is unaware why anyone would want to harm him.
I don't know exactly, but I know there was in Aurora sometimes, down bad Susie. So I don't know if it's the same person. I don't know because I don't see nobody. I cannot see is that one or that one. I don't know. I don't know.
The police is urging anyone with information regarding this homicide to call the Criminal Investigations Department at 456-3770 or the crime hotline by dialing 555. The RSLPF crime hotline app can also be used for anonymous reporting. For the DBS News World, Miriam Montoot reporting.
A chaotic scene unfolded in Bocage Castries around 8:15 p.m. Sunday after gunfire erupted, leaving 35-year-old Wayne Matre of the community injured. Friends and loved ones scrambled to get Matre life-saving treatment with bullets reportedly lodged in his abdomen.
Which leg that up?
Take out that bell, the boy that's all in his belly. Take out that, you only know where the shot is, eh?
Before friends could rush him to the hospital, official first responders arrived on the scene.
On arrival at the scene, an adult male was found in the back of a motor vehicle. On assessment, it was observed that he sustained multiple penetrating wounds about the body. Life-saving interventions were performed, and he was transported to a medical facility for advanced medical care.
According to police reports, the victim later succumbed and was pronounced dead by a medical practitioner. His sister remains in disbelief over his violent passing.
I was home when I heard the shots. I really thought the guys was just busting shots. Actually, I was actually catching kicks on that, not knowing, it was my brother that got shot. But...
She described the brother as someone who walked his own path, kind, jovial and loving towards family, though not without flaws. Still, she believes the violent and tragic nature of his death was wholly unwarranted.
He really didn't deserve to die, I did. But that's all I could say. I could just pray that they get the person who did that and they could serve time. That's all I could say. Just so tough, really and truly. I really miss my brother. I just pray that they just bring the person to justice.
According to his sister, family members clung to hope until the very end, rushing to the hospital and anxiously awaiting positive news that sadly never came.
About to bring him to the ICU to the surgery. Apparently, they told us while they were bringing him to the ICU, the elevator ended up stopping. So I think they had to bring him back and then wait for the elevator to function back, then take him here, and then he ended up dying in the elevator. That's what they told us.
And how's the family dealing with it?
Well, we're trying to cope. We coping. That's all we could do at the time. There's nothing else we could do. Just cope and show each other love here at our city.
Anyone with information regarding this incident is asked to contact the Criminal Investigations Department at 456-3770. Alternatively, anonymous tips can be provided by dialing 555, the crime hotline, or by utilizing the RSLPF Crime Hotline application, which is available in Google Play Store. Martha's murder is the 25th confirmed homicide in St. Lucia for 2025. Joachim de Plessis, HDS News Force.
Bloody and brutal. A gruesome attack on February 23rd claimed the life of 66-year-old Augustus Ford in Oleon Dennery. His wife, Lily Ford, says the assailant, reportedly Augustus's own brother, launched a completely unprovoked attack on his brother in the most violent and deadly way.
I was standing right here with him. And his brother come from there, his brother go down there, and when he coming back, he will look in my husband that kind of way. Okay, but my husband didn't take that for nothing. If he had tell my husband, well, I going at my home and I coming back for you, maybe my husband will do something else. But when he coming back, I see he coming back with a long gun. Okay? And when I tell my husband, watch out, he had time to shoot my husband there. And when my husband cut up, my husband passed me and his son, and my husband ran down there. He still gave him another shot, but I ran too.
The vicious attack was relentless. Loved ones say Augustus Ford had no chance of survival.
And when my husband ran, my husband fall in the drain by my home. He take a cutlass and he chopped my husband in his head.
The horrific attack unfolded in broad daylight around 3 p.m. on Sunday, February 23rd, witnessed by family members and the community at large.
We planned to clean around the yard together, and I sat inside and then I heard the gunshot and I saw my mother running. And then I saw my father coming down and he slid, and I saw the man on top of my father, and then I called the police, and that was the last time I saw my dad.
Terrible thing to see.
Right?
How are you dealing with it?
I'm not okay at all.
The victim's daughter is deeply traumatized. She alleges that her father was under constant threat and the family now fears for their lives. Heartbroken, she mourns the shattered plans and promises she once shared with her father.
I will miss the fact that we will always joke around, and that he will show me the parts of the van that I didn't know, how to weld and how to do maintenance and stuff. Will miss the fact that we used to go by the beach together, make plans, and now I can't make many more plans with him again because he's gone. And I miss him so much.
Reporters sought to find out the motive for such an unspeakable act.
What do you think would make him do something like that?
Well, it's jealousy. Jealousy. That's my husband. Both van and my husband has his boat behind their garage. He always telling my husband to sell his boat for him. My husband tell me, I'm telling, he cannot sell his boat. Well, that's the same way I buy my boat. You can buy your boat too. So he tell my husband, you're not selling the boat. You're not selling the boat. I'll kill you. And my husband was going and make how many reports, because he always fighting my husband, tell him he going to kill him. My husband going to make how many reports, reach for Denry Castries headquarters already. And yesterday he just take my husband's life. Yes, but to be honest, I want the officer to find him, and I want justice for that. But I find the officers too soft, because by the time my daughter called the police, they always saying they come in, and they come late. I don't even check the time when they came yesterday, but they come late, very late.
The sister of the deceased recalls the moment she received the debilitating news that was swiftly followed by a frantic call from her niece pleading for help.
I heard Liana call me. She tell me, Auntie, I need help. Auntie, where you? Auntie, where you? I need help, Auntie, help, Auntie. Kill daddy, kill daddy. I say, what?
So the brother did say he was going to do that?
Yes, every time I tell him, Leroy, go and report him. He always report him. When he go to reach for, I tell him go to Denry. When he come from Denry, I tell him go to Castries and report. When he report, they telling him Castries sending him back, go to reach for back. He telling me, I'm fed up exa. C'est police la pas qu'à monter. He telling me. Not the other pray for spoke why. But he don't come behind him at the front. He come at the back of him. That's why he chop him and kill him.
Why would two brothers stay? Did they have any problem?
They did not have no problem. He just jealous of my older brother because he's too on his eyes. He always do everything for his.
The alleged attacker is still at large. Residents recall hearing the distinct cracking sound of gunfire piercing the quiet Sunday afternoon, leading them to what they describe as one of the most grotesque scenes they have ever witnessed.
He had a shot too, and then we take a look to see what's going on, and then we hear some people screaming and shouting and crying and things. So I myself take a look to see what's going on, and then when I reached there, I saw the guy lie down on the ground, very, 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 very damaged. His head was a kind of way I never see that in my life. It's his first time I see that kind of tragedy in my life. But the fella self that making the crime, no, but I don't know if later on somebody see him or they not see him, but up to now I haven't seen him. They say he ran away. And I understand that they are family to one another, brother to one another. So I feel that if there is a brother to one another, why did not solve the problem without crime?
Anyone with information regarding this incident is asked to contact the Richford Police Station at 456-3690. Alternatively, anonymous tips can be provided by dialing 555 for the crime hotline or by utilizing the RSLPF crime hotline application, which is available in the Google Play Store. The bloody slaying in Montego Bay Oliot Dennery raised St. Lucia's homicide toll to 10 thus far in 2025. Solange Alfred, HTS News Force.
A Timon Union man is dead after a stabbing on Sunday. 44-year-old Jeremiah Precious was reportedly trying to end a dispute during a barbecue with family and friends when he was fatally wounded. A resident who arrived moments later says the traumatic scene has left him unable to sleep.
While he was on the ground, all I did was try and assist him as much as I could in a first aid manner. Because you know already, when things like that happen, you have to be very responsive. So since I was someone, I did many courses in first aid. At the moment, all I did was try and assist the situation, which was trying to preventing the bleeding, you understand, as much. I just went with my knowledge, you understand, and it ended up transpiring at the end of passing away in my hands. You know, God forbid, nobody never expected that. But at the end of the day, all I can say is, in St. Lucia, right now, let me say, crime happening more than people are paying bills.
Dad went down the road and buy something. When I my way back up, I beat him on the floor, bleeding. Yeah.
What happened to him?
He gets a couple stabs in his belly, wounded stabs.
So why do you think somebody wants to do that to him?
I don't even know. A little misunderstanding there.
Jeremiah Precious' younger brother Marlon broke down in tears as he spoke to reporters. He said he was at home when he was informed and rushed to the scene, only to witness his brother's final moments. Fighting back tears, he described Jeremiah as his backbone.
Crime can't stop a bus, because if you have people grieving, crying and thing, it's like there's the same thing that'll keep on happening and happening. So I myself, to tell people like, let's forget about being negative, let's live life on a positive high. But I can't find no words to try and change nothing or try and bring my brother back. There's nothing that could bring him back, even though I cry. I could just tell the young people, like, stay away from crime, stop doing negative things.
A cousin of the stabbing victim is calling upon St. Lucians to have better conflict resolution skills.
People are too angry in St. Lucia. I just wish at some point we would find more amicable ways and solutions to de-escalate the ever-growing crime situation in St. Lucia. Create this conflict resolution, get people involved, get the resources, and try your best to stop crime. Try your best to work things out for your families, for young people, for St. Lucia, because honestly this could have gone and happened differently, right? And one of the things I want to say to young people is to pray. Pray and ask God to give you strength in the heat of confrontation or in the heat of problems, because once you reach that breaking point, is two things: end up in jail or you end up in the morgue.
This incident took place on Sunday, May 11th, about 5:40 p.m. The homicide toll is now 24. The police urges anyone with information regarding this incident or any other criminal activity to contact the Babonneau Police Station at 456-4120. Anonymous tips can be given by calling 555 for the crime hotline or through the crime hotline app. For the DBS News World, Miriam Montouk reporting.
A gruesome discovery unfolded on Wednesday night when authorities found the lifeless body of 31-year-old Cade Jean-Baptiste, also known as Cape, lying blood-soaked on the cold asphalt.
But that was an Irish fella, you know. But sure, he had his ways and thing. People didn't like the way he was moving and thing, but we had like, he was an Irish partner.
A resident speaking anonymously revealed he had spoken to Jean-Baptiste earlier that day. The shocking news of his murder emerged around 7 p.m. on Wednesday, April 2nd.
The woman was there. I wake up the after 9. I go and check my uncle tell me, if I what happened, I tell him, I say, what happened? They just threw down Cape there. I say, what? And after 11, I end up seeing the pictures of the body on the ground. I say, boy, what? Yeah. But the thing is, he had no picture of himself and thing. That man is a man. That man never had phone. Always low profile.
A police press release on the island's 15th known homicide reads, quote, first responders discovered an unresponsive male victim at the scene, bearing apparent gunshot wounds to the torso. Personnel from the St. Lucia Fire Service attended to the victim. However, he succumbed to his injuries. A medical doctor who was summoned to the scene confirmed the victim's death. End quote.
Why do you think somebody want to do something out to him?
I gotta tell you, he had his ways and you check it. He had his ways. So I can't tell you about that. But yeah, he had his ways. He had his ways.
You surprised and shocked about this?
To tell you the truth, not really, you know. Because that is how the area is for the past couple of years.
Historically, the community has been convulsed by bouts of violence. The resident expressed skepticism about the potential for lasting peace between rival factions in the communities in the Roseau Valley. However, he believes this latest incident might be an isolated occurrence, not related to the chronic fissure in relations.
That stopped for a while. What happened the last time was maybe just something happened with him and somebody else, but I don't think that is something to do with the area or what's going on there. Yeah.
It is important to note that homicides in St. Lucia in 2025 are down compared to the same period in 2024. The Royal St. Lucia Police Force urges anyone with information about this incident to contact the Marigot Police Station at 456-3895. Report anonymously by dialing 555, the crime hotline, or by using the RSLPF Crime Hotline application available in the Google Play Store.
3 men are dead and 1 in critical condition after a shooting on Wednesday afternoon in Chopin Castries. The victims have been identified as brothers 28-year-old Jesse Charles and 45-year-old Eamon Charles, along with their friend 36-year-old Surveillance Bernard. According to residents, the men were hanging out outside Bernard's home when 2 masked gunmen appeared around the corner and opened fire. The mother of the 2 brothers says that her youngest son Jesse had been released from prison just 3 weeks prior. She recalled the events of that afternoon.
I was home there. That's my home there. My youngest son was over there where they got killed. I call him and I tell him bring a Sprite for me because that's a liquor shop. He was on the phone with me. And then I came out the door there and I heard multiple bullets. I had 2. I did not even know my older one was there because he just came from work. I not usually go in there. He came from work. He passed. So he answered, say he coming back now. Why we there? We go in the shot. So I call on. I tell my daughter, She not, Jesse's at the back there. But Jesse just came from Bodeli. He came out on the 17th of last month. But there are some rumors around which was saying whoever come out from jail will get it. So my mind come on him because I know he was at the back there.
When she arrived at the scene, she says that she found her eldest son, Eman, lying on his stomach holding Bernard's hand. She says that she called out to him, and although he lifted his head, he was unable to respond. Tragically, she says that she found her youngest son, Jesse, lying dead on the balcony of Bernard's house, his body riddled with bullets.
I went in, I take him, I put his head on my... I put his head on my lap, and I watch him. I call him, he was already dead. With multiple bullet shots all in his ribs, all in his arm, everywhere, and all the bullets on the floor in the balcony. And I sit there until the ambulance came, the police came. They go with my son because the other one was still alive. They went with him, but he took, a bullet in his back because he fell on his face.
The father of Bernard says that his son died innocently as he was not involved in any crime or violence. He says that his son would work on his vehicle for him. The father says that he feels like he has lost his right hand.
Wednesday morning, my son drive my vehicle, bring me down there to go and pick up passengers. And I drop him by my home there, and then I go to work. So when I get the phone call, I heard like he get shot. But they don't tell me like he died. That's why I rush in home, but they not allowed me to come home because they have the rebound police around, you know. So when I go at the hospital, they went away with him already. I can't see him. When I come home, then I see the blood outside. They tell me it's my son's blood or whatever. 2 of them get shot, they die. And the other one get shot on my balcony. The people go all inside of my balcony, go and shoot the next side.
The homicide toll is now 23. The police is urging anyone with information regarding this incident or any other criminal activity to call the Criminal Investigations Department at 456-3770 or make reports anonymously by calling the crime hotline at 555 or by using the crime hotline app. For the DBS News World, Miriam Montoute reporting.
Gunfire erupted in Marigot Ancillary on Sunday, April 27, 2025, around 9 p.m. The deadly shooting claimed the life of a young man identified by police as 24-year-old Justin Raphael of the community. His blood-soaked body lay motionless on the cold asphalt road, bearing several penetrating wounds. Grieving family members lamented the tragic and violent end to the young man's life, describing Justin as someone who never troubled anyone and was solely focused on bettering his future.
I miss my son a lot. My son didn't have problem with nobody. My son is a very loving son. To see everybody there crying, my son was a very, very loving son. Go to work, come back, go and tie his animals, and he there with us, but he like to go by there with his train.
The grieving family had only just visited the cemetery, making plans to bury another young man, 31-year-old Cade Jean-Baptiste, who was gunned down on April 2, 2025 in Cooleytown, Marigot, when they received the devastating news of Justin Raphael's death.
And Saturday we was in the cemetery building tomb for the other brother. They were there yesterday, came back, came to eat and went out with his cousin. And last night about 8 o'clock, I heard the news, they killed my son. That really hit me, that really put me down. My son just started his life and he just lose it like that. So, he wasn't problem with anybody. That my son went to school. The teacher never sent a letter say do anything in the school until now. I mean, didn't have a problem with nobody. And they just take my son life like that.
Family members insist on the young man's innocence, emphasizing that he stayed far from any lifestyle that would place him in the crosshairs of gunmen's rifles.
I'll really miss him, and I really would like if we get justice for him, because he was a very loving, innocent person. He was all about himself. He didn't deserve to die that way.
Former parliamentary rep for ancillary canneries lamented the tragic circumstances, describing them as a double blow for the already grieving family. He pointed to emboldened criminals and a failing justice system as glaring weaknesses within the island's criminal justice framework.
The funeral of the first son who was shot, that another son was shot. And this really is a travesty. It really continues to underscore that everything that we have done as a country really hasn't worked. We need to go back to the drawing board. A lot of low confidence was expressed in our justice system by the family. And, you know, it has almost become cavalier by a lot of people that nothing is going to happen. And we need to change that culture somehow, where we need to better sell the idea to prospective criminals that if you commit a crime, that there are going to be consequences.
Fede fears that failure to act could be detrimental.
Right now, there is just a level of low confidence across the spectrum, and it's being expressed clearly by victims of crime, by independent people who are just looking on the sidelines. It just really places our country in a very precarious position as we contemplate our development. But really sad, we came in the middle of the grieving of the family who, you know, no words can really be adequate for the pain and the agony that they feel and the void that these two unfortunate losses would have made.
The death of Justin Raphael has raised the homicide toll in St. Lucia to 19 thus far in 2025. Anyone with information regarding this incident is asked to contact the Marigot Police Station at 456-3895. Alternatively, anonymous tips can be provided by dialing 555, the crime hotline, or by utilizing the RSLPF crime hotline application, which is available in the Google Play Store. Solasha Alfred, HTS News Force. No sooner had the island experienced a bout of gun violence in Jacmel came word of the 62nd known homicide for 2021. The victim, identified by law enforcement as 32-year-old Kiran Fossois of Marigot, was found dead at his home on the afternoon of Monday, November 22, 2021. The young man was allegedly shot twice in the head in the wee hours of the morning.
Kiran is my first son. I never knew Kiran in no trouble with nobody. Ask about him, everybody saying Kiran is a good boy. I not walking with my son, but from the time my son come from work, he's at home.
The mother of the homicide victim, Claudia Fossois, says that she tried desperately to reach her son on Monday, but to no avail. Family members who ventured to his house, forced the door open, found their relative dead with apparent gunshot injuries.
I keep on calling, I not hear my son. Then one of my sister daughter called me and tell me, Auntie, you see Kiran already? I say, no, I not yet see Kiran. Then she tell me, but Auntie, Kiran light on at his home and he sleeper outside. And we calling Kiran phone. We not getting Kiran, but the phone ringing inside. So I tell her, buzz the door. Because I telling her, I hope it's not the vaccine that killed my son, because my son went and take the vaccine on Friday. I hope it's not the vaccine that killed my son, because he asthmatic. When I reach here, when I reach at home, they're telling me, should they shoot my son? They give my son two shots. What my son doing people for them to kill my son, for them to shoot my son?
The victim was a former employee of a telecoms company. A former co-worker who declined to have their likeness shown on camera described Kieran as a quiet and loving individual.
He was just that gentle kind of person. So for somebody to think that they could not have spoken to Kieran, just speak to him and say, well, if you upset me, that's why you upset me. And Kieran would listen. He would listen. And he had reached a point where he was just so humble in his life, he would have taken the time to just talk to that person.
The fatal shooting in Marigot was preceded by gunplay on the other side of the Roseau Valley. A resident of Boadin, Jacmel, was left nursing multiple gunshot wounds to the abdomen. The flare-up in gun violence occurred on Sunday, November 21st, around 1:15 p.m. Fire officials say they responded to the distress call. The victim has been identified as 30-year-old Troy Francis, who was treated on the scene of the crime, with EMTs assessing the extent of his injuries. Lead firefighter Stacey Joseph says Francis was provided transportation to the OKEU hospital.
Emergency personnel at the fire service headquarters on Sunday 21st November at approximately 1:30 p.m. responded to a call relating to an alleged shooting incident at Jacmel. The emergency crew found an individual lying on his back on the pavement, complaining of body pain. An assessment of the patient revealed several penetrating wounds on his body. His wounds were treated and he was then transported in a stable condition to the OKEU hospital, where he was left in the care of medical personnel.
Jacmel, like a number of other communities plagued by tough battles, has been a flashpoint for gun violence over the past 4 years. A double homicide was recorded in the community in May 2021. 25-year-old Jason Polius and a 24-year-old mother, Taisha Raphael, were killed when a gunman opened fire indiscriminately in a crowd. 2 other people were injured in that gun attack. The ongoing feud between Jacmel and Marigot factions has resulted in the tragic deaths of a number of young victims and injuries to many others. Solange Alfred, HTS News Force. Identified only as John Doe, the body of an adult male was discovered in a bushy area of Chinatown, Marigot, around 2:10 p.m. on Monday, November 4th, 2024. Crime scene investigators swarmed the unsettling scene as our camera crew captured the moment when the body was removed from the site.
I will be honest, I didn't hear any shots, but there was the saying that there were shots in the area.
The university there's shots.
Yeah, so that is most likely what I know about. And then coming to this minute that we're finding a body, that was very unreasonable because we don't even know the person that's in question.
Residents speaking to News Force on condition of anonymity say the victim does not appear to hail from the community.
Nobody in Marigot is nobody from the area, so I don't know where that person is from and anything. I don't think there is anybody in the area. If anyone was missing, we would have known from now. And taking any responsibility of persons that missing now and the person that we have seen there, I don't know that person at all.
A police press statement issued Tuesday morning reads, quote, "The body of a male was discovered motionless with apparent marks of violence. A pathologist was summoned to the scene and made initial assessments. A post-mortem examination is scheduled for a later date." End quote. The discovery has sent shockwaves through the quiet community, sparking concern and speculation over the sudden violent intrusion in an area where a peace treaty had previously been brokered between rival factions.
We have not had that thing from the upset, and we were not expecting it, but now it has come to that, it becomes an issue.
Despite the unsettling nature of the incident, residents remain convinced that this latest homicide may not be gang-related, adding another layer of mystery to the investigation.
People may want to think it is gang-related and whatnot, but we have been in that peace for the past couple of months, and we have been trying our best to stick to being at peace. And we do not want to be in a position for anybody to think that, you know, the whole gang-related thing is up on the upspring and everything is going like it's like a rampage. And that happening at our doorstep, it becomes an issue for us. And I'm saying to everybody, that has nothing to do with we as a community. I'm not saying there is nothing to do with individuals. And I'm saying that the individuals being involved, I'm hoping that there is some kind of reprieve where that we're going to get somebody to say something, do something, and we're going to get something out of that. But knowing who the person is, I do not know. I don't have any information concerning who the person is. And I do not want to think for a second that the person that is involved is from the area even.
The Royal St. Lucia Police Force is seeking the public's cooperation in identifying the deceased. Anyone with information regarding this incident is asked to contact the Marigo Police Station at 456-3895 or the Major Crime Unit at 456-3756. Alternatively, anonymous tips can be provided by dialing 555, the crime hotline, or by utilizing the RSLPF Crime Hotline application, which is available in the Google Play Store. Solange Alfred, HTS News Force.